A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to TV shows that deserve the spotlight. And now, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try our hand at another piece in mind for the early 2000s. A piece of DC that is part of what's known as the Dakota Universe. This was a while before the likes of Static Shock ever showed up in regular DC-based media. As we know, the Dakotaverse itself was more considered a crappy subsidiary of the actual DC universe, which, as we know, contained the likes of memorable heroes like Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Batman, Aquaman, The Flash, and Shazam, as well as various villains of each hero as we know and love. But with the Dakotaverse, Static Shock being one of those characters and one of the most popular in regards to that particular universe, a tangent of DC itself, I'd say with this show from the year 2000, it basically set it up as a good example in terms of giving us something different that DC was hardly ever known for offering. Of course, we know that Static Shock itself was a pretty short series, having less than 20 episodes. Why don't we go through those real quick just to show how many there actually were. Yeah, it was pretty short. But you know what though, I'm not exactly gonna hold a bit of a grudge on any of that part because how could I? There were lots of short shows out there, many of which were during that exact time. But in any case though, Static Shock stars Phil LaMarr as, well, Virgil Hawkins. Yeah, that's pretty much his real name. He's basically a high school student and tries to have himself a normal life, yada yada yada. He teams up with a gang, they go on illegal missions, and at one point they get exposed to some sort of substance that gives them all unique powers. For Hawkins, it's the power of electro manipulation. So if you thought that the likes of other electric type heroes or villains like Electro, Flash, or Shazam, or possibly some of the others, if you thought any of them were impressive for harnessing the power of electricity, lightning, and whatnot, well, take a look at Static Shock. Basically, a boy in a costume who rides aboard his own little craft that he made. It's supposedly a piece of magnetic manipulation, a usage of using his own body as a living magnet, supposedly able to attract metallic objects and use them for his own will. He could bring them over to him, toss them away, simply by reversing the polarity of the magnetism, or possibly other stuff in it. Of course, we know that like with most heroes, the first time Hawkins got his powers, he got a little intimidated by them and sort of freaked out. But after some time passes, alongside his best friend, who himself also becomes a superhero that helps him fight crime against the same members of that gang that he once tried to partner up with. So, I guess in addition to trying making some evil friends, they in addition become enemies. Yeah, that's quite a way to go. But in any case though, I don't exactly find this to be a bad show by any case. I do feel like it might be feeling a little generic by this point. And some people might consider this more of a cult flick than something that's probably worth talking about more often nowadays. Even with the web, some people still don't really get it. But I myself have known a lot of old time stuff for a long time now, and I feel like that lots of other old shows have yet to be brought back to the light. And I feel that with this show and all the things I've accomplished so far, it really is about that time that I do get to that kind of point. Static Shock is a good show. Lots of action, Lots of comedy, some drama, some horror. But we certainly can't forget about the inclusion of actual DC heroes. Like at one point where Shazam is basically at a point, it's just more than a reference. But we can't forget that one episode where Batman shows up. That's right, Batman and Static Shock cross paths. Even the Joker tries to go part up. Oh man. Like, I mean, this just makes sense after all. This is a subversion of DC's usual MO. And I do feel that they not only did a good job at allowing these things to cross-connect with each other by at least giving us one known instance of Batman coming from Gotham, going into Dakota. So I guess with all things considered, it's still a good program. Not only worth watching nowadays, but having a lot of time to think about. Because after all, since Dakota has now merged with DC, along with all other known sub-universes that were made over the years. And you want to know why? A detective comic actually does showcase all of these universes, these separate pieces of life, all made by different artists and authors, and yeah, you don't want to hear all that good stuff, but the point is, they have all since merged. If that's not brilliant enough, there actually have been talks all over the place. Supposedly they might do even more with these other characters. I mean, Static Shock could get his own movie at some point. And I honestly do hope they pick someone good to play him. And I don't really care how well it does, I would still go see it. Even if it's just Virgil Hawkins sitting on a toilet. Other than that though, this is still a good show worth talking about. It has a good cast, great animation for the time that it was out. And also, despite having little episodes, it still had a lot to offer to keep you occupied for some time. Might even be worth rewatching, even right after you saw the last episode. So, that's only because they could only accomplish so much back then. If you want to see more go down on my channel though, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me wherever you can find me, and stay on the Hollywood side.